Today I'm going to be sharing the results of an experiment where we tested out weight versus soaking for Fenugreek to see which one gives us the best results for removing the seed holes. See you guys soon. All right, y'all, today we are going to be doing an experiment with Fenugreek Microgreens. Now, what we've been trying to do over the past few months is trying to grow these things, and we've been having a lot of trouble. They seem to be one of the pickier crops. I mean, we do have some that is growing here, but we commonly run into issues with dampening off, and also getting these seed holes can be quite tricky. So what I'm going to be doing today is a little bit of an experiment, testing out 2 different ways, or actually technically 4 different ways of germinating these to see which gives us the best success through germination for Fenugreek. So what I've got in front of me is I have 4 trays that are all identical. They're all mesh bottom trays that have been filled with some Coco and perlite mixture from this company right here, this Mother Earth soil that we got off of Amazon. Actually, this is an OMRI rated, I believe, or maybe it's not. I'm actually not seeing an OMRI rating on it, so it does not have the OMRI certification on it, but regardless, it's Coco and perlite that has been mixed together, and all of these trays have received 6 cups of that. Now what I want to do is I want to see what effects weight has on Fenugreek as well as a soaking process. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go through the full soaking process to fully sprout and germinate their Fenugreek before they actually seed it. We've tried that a few times, but it's given us mixed results because the roots don't have time to really dry down and they look kind of weird in the end, and we still run into issues. So what I'm going to do is a few different things. First, let me go ahead and get some Fenugreek out here. All right. Now, one thing I gotta say I love about Fenugreek is it smells exactly like caramel in my opinion, and I really wish it tasted like it, but it tastes very green. Okay, so what I'm looking for is about 50 grams, oops, dropped a few, of Fenugreek here. Okay, so we are at 50 grams of Fenugreek, which turns out to be basically even with about a 1/4 cup of seed. All right, 50 grams. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this a few ways. Woo! Just chunked one of my sprouting jars there. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to seed 2 of these trays just regular. I'm going to put the Fenugreek directly on top of the medium. And for the other 2, I'm going to do a 1-hour soak in a sprouting jar before I actually seed them. So I'll do those in just a minute. So let's go ahead and get our first tray seeded here for the regular grow method. Okay, I got my first tray seeded. Now I'm just going to repeat the process for my second tray. And I know it's about a 1/4 cup, so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I zero that out. And I'm going to give myself a little scoop here and see, try to end up around that 1/4 cup mark and see where we end up on weight. Let's see, 58, so I'm just going to pull a few of these out. That should be it. I'm going to pinch over. This is the fun game right here, this up and down, right? This is the challenge with experiments. So we're going to assume that's 50. That is just like as close as we're going to get there. Let's just kind of double check. Again, yeah, we're at about the 1/4 cup mark. So I'm going to go ahead and seed my second tray normally. So notice I have a pink tray and a white tray here. I'll tell you why that is in just a moment. Okay, bam, got my second tray seeded normally. Now I'm just going to set these aside. And what we need is 2 more groups of the same 1/4 cup. I'm gonna give myself a scoop here, and let's play this little mini game one more time. What do you think I'm gonna get it perfectly this time? All right, come on, be 50 grams, be 50 grams. That was fairly close, under that time. 50, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So for this group, what I'm gonna do is instead of seeding it directly onto my tray, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this into a sprouting jar that I'm gonna use. Oh, drop 2 of them. Goes back in there. Let me use this little sprouting jar here to soak these and rinse them for 1 hour. So let's go ahead and get our second sprouting jar group going. That's probably going to be under, let's say, I'm going to guess 45. Oh, what's up? What's up with that good guess? There we go. Okay, cool. The second group has now 50 grams. I'm going to go ahead and get that added into, you see that static electricity right there. Hold on to that seed. All right, now I've got both of these in a sprouting jar. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this over to my watering station. So I'm gonna slightly get this closed up first, slightly clean out my station. All right, so let's wheel over to the sink. All right, so what I'm gonna be doing over here is first I'm gonna go ahead and mist the 2 trays that I seeded normally, because again, this is gonna be a comparison seeing how they germinate in 2 different ways here. 2 of them are gonna be seeded just normally with no soak, no rinse or anything like that. Give this a nice watering. Bam. Do the same thing for the second tray. Okay. Both these look nice and moist, but not overly saturated. Now what I need to do with my sprouting jars here is I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add some water into the top here where it has this little rinsing area. I'm gonna kind of give these a swirl and give them a quick rinse. I'm gonna do this twice. All right, those are rinsed out. Add back in my water. I'm gonna put about that much water, and I'm just gonna leave these here now to soak for the next hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this process for my second one as well. So I had some that were stuck up in the edge of this. Swirl the water, make sure I get those down and into the water for germination. Okay, now both of these are soaking. I'm gonna set a timer for 1 hour at this point, and then I'm gonna come back to these and seed them into the tray. So I'll see you guys in about an hour for those ones, but let's go ahead and finish these ones up, and I'll explain to you what some of this experiment's gonna be about. Okay, I am here at the station, and I need some top lids. Now I said I wanted to compare some weight, a 7-pound paver and a 15-pound paver. I'm gonna see what the difference is on the germination process for Fenugreek specifically. So for the pink tray, that will be our little brick here, which is about 5 to 7 pounds. I can actually double check that. I'm just gonna see how much this weighs, and let's go over to pounds. Yeah, so I was correct. It was just about 5 pounds. It's 4.65. Let me see my other brick and see that should be nearly identical in weight. 4.85. So one is slightly heavier than the other, but that'll still give us the idea of just around 5 pounds what these bricks like. So again, one of the 5-pound bricks is going to go on the pink tray, and then for our other tray, I'm going to use a 15-pound paver. I need to scoot this out of the way so I can grab me one. Oh, that noise. One of those experiments. Okay, so now we have our white tray, which has the 15-pound paver, and our pink tray, which has the 5-pound paver. This is gonna give us a little bit of an idea of what happens throughout the germination process by having these 2 sets of weights. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing for the soak groups, except they're just gonna, the one difference for those is that you can see here on the edge of them, I have these labeled with 1 hour. So this is gonna let me know that these were the 2 groups that had the 1 hour soak on them. But I'm gonna repeat the same process where for the pink group, it's gonna get, after the 1 hour soak, I'm gonna seed it. I'm gonna put down my top lid, and that is going to get our 5-pound brick there. And then same thing with the white group. I'm going to, after I seed it in an hour, I'm gonna put this on top, and I'm gonna throw another 15-pound paver on. This way we're gonna have essentially a good understanding of what weight does plus what happens when we add an additional little 1 hour soak. So 1 hour may not seem like a lot, but it actually does a great job to soften up the seed holes quite a bit. And we can see some pretty good results from doing such a short soak time. If we don't see much of a change over 1 hour, what we might try is also a 4 hour, 8 hour, and 12 hour. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can experiment with this. Now I've even fully sprouted Fenugreek, which can take about 24 to 36 hours of kind of rinsing and draining that jar over there. But again, we're gonna stick to the 1 hour and just see what happens. So in about 1 hour, I'm gonna come back out, I'm gonna get these trays seeded, throw the weights on top, and I'm gonna get these put onto my shelf to germinate, and I will give you guys an update tomorrow with how everything looks. So I'll see you guys then. I'm excited, I hope you are too. All right, y'all, we are on day 2 for this Fenugreek trial, so let's go ahead and see how the weight and soak times have affected the germination process so far. I'm gonna go ahead and get these weights removed so we can take a peek. All right, so now recall the white trays are the ones that had the 15 pounds added, and the pink trays are the ones that had the almost 5 pounds added to it. So let's go ahead and take a look at these 2 side by side. So what I'm noticing right off the bat is quite a few stickers to the top of these trays. Overall, the germination does seem to be quite nice on both of these. I am seeing some of these really beginning to kick out their radicals. But overall, I'd say the germination right now, we only see about 1 to maybe 2% of these. This one seems to be doing a little bit better with the higher weight. I am seeing a few more with those radicals really popping out compared to this side over here with the less weight. Now let's also take a look at the 2 soak time ones. So immediately I'm not noticing any more with the radicals kind of sticking out. It seems to be pretty comparable at this point. Well, I feel like maybe perhaps over here slightly more, but this is really, really early in the process, so it's really quite hard to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some water added to both of these, and hopefully we'll get some more distinguishable results over the next few days. I'm also going to add some water to the top of this tray to hopefully keep these things from sticking to the top here. Alright, the soaked sides have less sticking to the top compared to the non-soaked sides. I'm seeing a ton of these on the non-soaked sides really sticking to the top of these trays here. Now it's probably because that moisture that from the soaking side allowed those to kind of have a little bit of lubrication and not stick to the top tray so much, whereas on the non-soaked side, they probably just are, you know, connecting with that plastic and with that lack of moisture really on those seed holes. It kind of grabs on there. All right, give these all a nice watering, a nice spray on the top here. Try to loosen those guys up, get them back down into our growing medium. All right, so that is it for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the weight put back on top of these. Now we'll see you guys tomorrow for another update on the germination, and hopefully we have a little bit more exciting results. All right, you guys, so we are on day 5 for this germination process. Now I said that we were going to be doing daily updates to see how these were actually germinating underneath these different weights and different soak times. But what I remembered is after the first day that I came out to actually water these, you begin to lift up that top tray, and what happens is fenugreek seeds love to stick to that plastic of the top trays. And what happens is we're constantly uprooting and then derooting them if we do that. So the only day that I actually top watered for germination was the night after I showed you guys that first little bit. And then from that point forward, what I've been doing is I've actually been bottom watering all of these. So what I'll do instead of actually lifting up this top tray is I've been lifting up this middle tray, and I've just been adding water directly into the bottom tray there to then be absorbed up into the tray and allow these to germinate without actually constantly removing that top lid over and over and over and over, and allow these guys to get rooted really well. So I haven't looked at these in about 3 or 4 days, but as you can see, all of the weights are being pushed up because this fenugreek is really just kind of coming together and really trying to lift this, especially this 25 or 15 pound paver right here. And you can see this 5-pounder is basically just floating at this point. So it's definitely time for these to come out of the germination process, and we'll see how these actually look. Now again, this is different from what we normally do with germination. I wanted to try something new on top of kind of a new trial, so let's just see how everything looks here. I'm gonna get my table pulled over and let's get all of these pulled down and take a look here. All right, sweet. So let's go ahead and I'll get this table flipped around so you guys can see which one is which. So we have our, obviously the 2 pink trays again are our 5-pound ones, and then the 2 white trays are 15-pound ones. And then right here we have our 2 1-hour soaks as well. So let's go ahead and start getting these all removed so we can take a look at the growth. Bam. All right, so moment of truth. Hopefully these don't all pull out because I've never done this where they are grown that whole way. Okay, cool. So that one looks pretty dang solid. Let's keep going here. All right, so we're seeing a little bit more seed holes on this one than we are on that one. The 1-hour soaks looking pretty dang good as well. And lastly, the other 1-hour soak with the 5-pound paver. So overall, I'm still seeing a good amount of seed holes. However, the germination just looks really solid across the board on all of these. I'm not sure that there's much of a difference in germination benefit between the 1-hour soak and the just regular. I mean, this one does look pretty solid right here. This 1-hour soak with the 15-pound, I would say it kind of has like the best kind of solid grouping there out of all of the groups. I don't know if they all just managed to grow inwards like that versus the others where it seems like they kind of grew all over the place. But overall, I mean, the great news is we got a ton of great germination. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all of these tossed into the light, and that way we can actually grow these out and see which one could potentially perform better because of the soak time or the weight. So let me find a spot where we have 4 lights here. I'm going to have to move some things around.
346 minutes later.
All right, so I've got a shelf cleared off. I'm just going to get all these little seed holes and just tiny little bit of soil here knocked into my compost. And we have us a nice shelf ready to grow on. Okay, so I'm going to keep them kind of in this randomized order a little bit where it's white, pink, pink. That way underneath the lights, we're not putting the pink on one side, white on the other, and potentially the airflow could play a factor. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm placing these up underneath of our T5 Barinas. These are 20-watt LEDs, and we've got 3 of them, and it puts out about anywhere between 6,000 to about 8,000 lumens in the middle, or lux, I guess you could say, is the actual term for the light output. These lights work great because they cause the plants to stretch just a little bit, but they also provide enough light for them to develop some really nice crops. So again, I've got this placed under here. I'm going to fill the weight of these trays and see how they're doing with water. This one I know is good. This one feels pretty good. So they all actually feel really good for water at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave them as they are, and then just kind of let them go ahead and start standing up for the rest of the day. So I'll see you guys. Let's check in tomorrow, and we'll see how these look under the light for the first full day. All right, y'all, so we're on day 2 of the fenugreek being in the light here, and I've got to say all of these are growing really quite nice. As for any differences in the crops and the seed holes so far, I'm not really seeing too much of a difference here. They all look pretty comparable in their height and their growth and the amount of seed holes. I do feel like just between these two right here on the end, this was the 5-pound 1 hour soak, and this was the 15-pound 1 hour soak. I might be noticing a pretty good difference because I feel like there's quite a few seed holes on this side with the 5 pounds. But when you look over here at the 15-pound side, I feel like they have popped a good amount of those off. So I feel like we do have a little bit of advantage on the 15 pounds so far. So that is some exciting news. I'm going to go ahead and end this here, and I'll see you guys here in a few days when it's time to harvest these. Guys, we've got some results. Let's talk about them. All right, so we have been now growing these Fenugreek microgreens for 9 full days. They've been in the light for 5 days. And again, just a reminder for those of you who don't pay attention too well, we already tested out weight. Which I forget what I'm talking about. Made fun of you guys, I don't even know what I'm talking about. The 2 white trays had 15 pounds and the 2 pink trays had 5 pounds. And we also compared soaking. So we added some soaking into this. We did 2 1-hour soaks on 2 of these groups with the 15 pounds and with the 5 pounds to see overall what's going to give us the best results. Is it the soaking? Is it the weight? And now we can go over the results. So let's go ahead and start over here on the 5-pound side. Now recall, one tray just had 5 pounds, and the other had 5 pounds plus a 1-hour soak. They all started germinating at the exact same time. And comparing the results between these two, I would actually say that the non-soaked version seems to have done better, because I'm seeing quite a few of these seed holes still here on this 1-hour soak side compared to the just regular 5-pound no soak. So right there, I'm not really seeing much of a difference, which gives me hope, because I don't like having to soak if I don't have to. If I can seed directly on the tray, that removes one extra step from the process. Actually, a few extra steps, because you gotta like pour them in there, you gotta soak them, you gotta rinse them, and then you gotta reseed it with like clumpy seeds. So it really does take quite a few extra steps and quite a bit extra care and time to sit there and seed this correctly. So I'm glad to see that we don't really need to soak that one, at least for 1 hour, to get better results. So bam, there's the results for that between the 5-pound and the soak times there. So now as for the 15-pound groups, I will say that both these groups look a lot better. So this gives me hope, if you compare these to the 5-pound groups, that the more weight that we had, the more seed holes that we removed. So that's really exciting, and it tells me that weight plays more of a factor than soaking does, and I am excited to play with this a little bit more. So now let's compare the results between a 1-hour soak, which is this tray right here, and the just regular 15 pounds no soak. So I will say this tray is a little bit drier than this one. That was actually just us under watering slightly, so that's why you see these kind of falling on the sides. That has nothing to do with the amount of weight or the soak time there. But overall, let's just kind of look at the middle of this canopy where most of this growth is. Looking at both of these side by side, I'm not really noticing too much of a difference here. I do feel like perhaps the 1-hour soak is slightly better, but overall, I mean, the amount of seed holes removed, it looks pretty equal for both of these groups. I wish I hadn't slightly dried out this one tray right here, because I feel like having those perked up a little bit more would really help to show the contrast here and see if there really was much of a difference. But overall, I'm very happy with both of the results on these. I would say we maybe have, I'd say probably about 5% or right around there seed holes remaining on this. And really, we're seeing the most seed holes up at the front and around the sides. And those are generally the areas that receive the least amount of weight, because that weight's kind of dispersed really pretty much in the middle for the most part. So that's really good to know. So that's really about it for this experiment. We're going to keep playing with this. What I want to do is I want to do some more soak times, see if perhaps maybe like a 5-hour, 8-hour, or 12-hour soak, or even just slightly sprouting these beforehand and then seeding it onto the tray would provide more benefit. But overall, I'm very happy with just knowing that the 15 pounds does a lot better than the simply 5-pound little brick right there. So at this point, I think we are actually good enough to start a full walkthrough with this. This is one of the big issues that we've been having with this crop. We haven't started a full walkthrough because most of our crops looked like this. And I think that was due to an old batch of seed as well. So it also depends on your batch of seed. It could play a factor in how the seeds actually germinate. Are they able to pop themselves out of that seed hole very well? But this new batch looks really great with just the simply 15 pounds of weight. So I'm really, really excited about that. Especially considering we got this big of a tray in only 9 days. That is really exciting because there's only a few crops that you can really harvest after 9 days. Sunflowers being one of those, peas sometimes being that crop. But I mean, seeing these Fenugreek ready right now is just really exciting. So what we're actually going to do is Mandy's going to do a video kind of playing around with these. She's going to harvest them. She's going to show you guys how we harvest, and then actually wash our microgreens and then spin dry them. And I think that you guys would enjoy that a lot of it. Oh yes, and she's actually going to use this in a recipe as well. I think she's going to make a chicken tikka masala with these, which is one of my favorite recipes that she makes for us, and I really do enjoy it, and I hope that you guys enjoy that video as well. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give us a thumbs down. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below, and we'd love to get those answered for you. If you have any, or if you'd like to follow us on Instagram or Facebook, it is both @OnTheGrowFarms. Our website is www.onthegrow.net. We also have an ebook now where we talk about all kinds of great information about how to grow, soak times, identifying crop issues, our grow space, and just so much other information that would probably take me like 45 seconds just to list the table of contents. It's under $16. It's great value. We bring a lot of information in there so that you guys can really get a head start on your game. Or if you're already an experienced grower, I'm telling you, there's going to be something in there that you're really going to find useful. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Keep on believing.